Oke, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
How are you today? Is it good? Mas Gali, sorry, share bad connection here. Where are you now, Mas Gali? Where are you? Wait a minute. I don't have your... Guys, please turn on your camera. Because I forgot to bring your absency, so I have to take a picture first before we start class. Yeah, okay, please. Okay. Another one, please. Pak Maria, please. Mas Ilham masih di jalan? Oke, 1, 2, 3. More. One more. 1, 2, 3. Okay guys, let's start our class by reciting this one. And you may turn off your camera. It's okay. Guys, what did we learn in the last meeting, everyone? Do you remember? Hello, please turn off your, please mute your, Celia, please mute your.
Pak, apa panjatnya?
Okay, what we have been learned in the last meeting, everyone? Do you remember? In the last meeting, actually, we have been learn about opening presentation and also content in presentation. Is it correct or not? Is it correct or not, everyone? Hello.
Dan posting, sir.
Okay. Sign posting, which is in the content of presentation, right?
Right, sir.
All right. So today, last but not least, we're gonna learn about the closing of presentation itself. Okay, this is the last one for the material of presentation itself. So closing of presentation and managing a question. Actually, you can see up there. Nah, this one. This is our title. And the next one, this is our outline that we gonna talk about. This is the first one, closing of presentations. And there are two types over here, delivering summary and suggestion, how to deliver the summary and suggestions, and also how to manage the question in presentations. Okay. So next one, this is the objective. We have two objectives here. In the end of this course, you're gonna able to create a variety of expression to close, how to close your presentation itself. And also at the end of the course, also it's hope you are able to understand the variety of experience used to manage the question as well as dealing with the issues in presentations, how to deal with difficult questions and other one. So the first one, everyone, how to close the presentations. Basically, there are at least 4 parts in closing a presentation. Ini ada 4 bagian di dalam kita menutup presentasi kita itu sendiri. Dalam mengakhiri presentasi kita sendiri, we have 4 parts. The first one, signaling. We have to signaling the end of our presentations. The second one, summarizing the main points, giving suggestion and recommendation, and also inviting question. Yeah, at least four parts that you have to have in your presentations, in closing your presentation. But it is also recommended to give a strong ending that will be remembered by the audience, which is you have to give your final statement. Yeah, you have to give your final statement. So you have to have 5 parts. Yeah, at least you have 1 to 4, but it should be, you have to be put also your final statement in your to close your presentation. Okay, so signaling the end of presentation, summarizing the main point of your presentation, and making a recommendation and also the suggestion for your audience about your presentations, and also ask them to ask some questions, yeah, or invite them a questions, yeah. And also the last but not least, your final statement about your title, about your presentation that you have been told to the audience. Okay, this is how to close the presentation. At least there are 4 parts, but you have to put one more, which is your final statement. For the first one, everyone, signaling the end of your presentations. Yeah. You can use this expression below. Yeah, you can use this expression below to give them a signal of that this your presentation will be ended in a few minutes, maybe. For example, Well, everyone, this brings me to the end of my presentations. You can see that. Or you can say, I'm sorry, but time is nearly up. Or you might say, the time, so sorry everyone, our time is limited. Or you might say, we have almost run out of time. Or you can say, we only have a few minutes left. I'm now approaching the end of my talk. As final point, I would like to remind you that blah blah blah, or unfortunately, time won't allow me to explain all the details about it. This is the expression for you as a presenter, how to signal, give them a signal that your presentation will be ended. Okay, this is for signal your presentation. Remember everyone. Next. And then the second one, summarizing your main point of your presentations. So in the closing, everyone, you have to remember that it is very crucial and important to deliver the summary of your main point of your presentation. You may use these expressions below. It is, for example, some expression that can be used. Let me summarize the main points. Let me summarize the points before I go on. Or before I stop in this part, let me go over the key issues again. So what are the key issues? You may say that. Or you may say, I would like to run through my main points again. Jadi kita ajak mereka kembali ke poin utama yang dalam presentasi itu. Or to conclude that we have to, or to sum up, I would like to, you may say, this is how to summarize your main points. Ya. Poin utama dalam presentasi Anda, you may use these expressions. Next, making recommendation and suggestions. It is also better to put some recommendation or suggestion in the end of your presentations. Yeah. It's like when you write a journal or article, yeah, or thesis or skripsi. In the end of your writing, in the end of your thesis, usually for skripsi, yeah, for skripsi, everyone, we usually write the recommendation and suggestion in the last one, in the last chapter, which is in chapter 4, in chapter 5. After before conclusion. So you may say for your presentation, you may say we would like we would like to suggest you that blah blah, or you may say therefore we strongly recommend you that you have to read this book or these books, or I believe we should read more, or we should try more about this blah blah blah, or you may say that. This is how to make a recommendation or a suggestion for your presentation. And the next one, inviting a questions. This is after your presentation. After your main points, you already talk about your main points, and you already summarize your main points.
Excuse me, Mr. Dewangga.
Hari? Sorry.
Rahmat, present, yes, sir. Sorry, I was late.
Okay, Mas. Okay. It's okay.
I'm late too, sir.
Oke, nanti di akhir juga kita akan kita take a screenshot also. Oke, jadi di awal dan di akhir. Oke, teman-teman ya. It's okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yo. Okay. After we talk about our After we summarize our main part of our presentations and make a conclusions of our main part of our presentation. So in the next one, we have to invite them a question. You can see that, yeah. Before finishing the talk, it is also important to signal the time for question and answer. So we have to be, we as a presenter have to give them a chance to ask a question. Maybe there are some of them who still do not understand what you are talking about, what you have been talk about. So please give them a chance, yeah, to ask the questions, yeah. So how to ask them, how to invite them a questions? You may use this. You may use this expressions, yeah. Maybe you have another expression, you may use it, yeah. But this is the example when you want to invite a question to the audience, yeah. You may say, are there any questions? If you want if you want many questions from the audience, you may say, are there any questions? If you want one question, only one question from the audience, you may say, is there any question? Is there a question from you? If you want only one question. If you want all of them ask the question, or if you want some questions come from the audience, you may say, are there any questions? Okay, you may say that, Mas Gali. Another question, please. All right. You may say, do you have any questions? Or now I'll be happy. Now everyone, I'll be happy to answer any question you might have. Saya akan senang untuk menjawab beberapa pertanyaan yang kalian punya atau yang mungkin kalian punya, yang kalian miliki. Please ask me a question. You may say that. Or you may say it is time for a few questions. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me, please. Or you may say, I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have. Okay, this is how to invite some questions from your audience. Okay, this is how to invite the questions. And the next one, your final statement. To express your final statement, everyone, you may say, thank you very much for your attention. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for your listening. I sincerely appreciate your attention today, this evening, or that bring us to the end of my presentation. So thank you very much for all your attentions. Or I said, I sincerely appreciate that I have had this opportunity to present to you about my study, about my research, about my presentations, or about my topic. Okay, this is how to give your final statement. So how are the strategies for good conclusion? You can see that there are many ways to the end of your presentation. Some presenters use several techniques to give effective conclusion or impactful ending. You may give them quote or a quote from a famous person. Maybe you may from Rumi, from Muslim, from any others, a famous person, quote from a famous person. And also you might ask a question, or you might use a jokes, maybe. Thanks to your audience. Yeah, is strategies for good conclusions. And the next one, how to deal with questions. How to deal with the questions. So everyone, the presenters who masters the topic, remember, for the presenters who master the topic will and well, and now who the audience will be able to anticipate most the question that will be asked. The presenter who masters the topic well and know how the audience will be able to anticipate most of the question that will be asked. Yeah. So it is possible to prepare a list of possible questions that are expected to be asked. Jadi, so that's why we have to prepare first what we gonna talk about in our presentations. If there is any difficulties or maybe this part is very difficult to understand, and maybe there will be a question from the audience, so you have to be prepared. So you can see over here, it is possible to prepare a least possible question that are expected to be asked, atau yang kalian ingin audience tanyakan, we can say that. Okay. And the next one, in the questions and answer sections, there are several important expressions that can be used, which include dealing with the interruptions, clarifying questions, avoiding giving answers, reforming questions, admitting not knowing the answer, as well as making polite questions. Yeah. So here in the question and answer section, you have to do several important expressions that can be used, which include dealing the interruption, how to clarify the question from the audience, or how to deal with their interruptions, how to avoid giving an answer from the audience. Maybe there is a question from the audience and you avoid to answer it. So you have to have the expression that you have to use over there. And the next one, reforming a question. So to reform the question that comes from audience, and how to admit not knowing the answer. How to admit, to admit, mengakui that you do not know the answer from the questions that the audience asks to you. So how to admit not knowing the answer, as well as making polite questions. So for the first one, dealing with the interruption. Allahu alam. Sekali. So how to deal with the interruptions? So here, during your presentation, everyone, when you are present seriously your material in front of the audience, sometimes your audience try to interrupt your talk. Sometimes, because there are many kind of people that comes to your presentations, and when you serious to in conveying your presentation to your audience, maybe there are one or two audience that want to interrupt you. Because what? Maybe they want to try to interrupt your talk. Okay. Azam. So when you find out this case, everyone, when you found this case, so if the presenter doesn't want to answer immediately, when you as a presenter do not want to answer directly immediately, so it is possible to postpone unwelcome questions or comment. So you might use the expressions below, everyone. If there is interruption, you may use this, and you don't want to answer directly or immediately, you may use, if you don't mind, I'll deal it with the issues later. I will deal with the issues later. You may say that. Or thank you for your questions. Can I answer it at the end of my presentations? You may say that. Can we get back? Can we get back to that bit, to that a bit later? Maybe sebentar lagi mungkin atau setelah ini. That's an interesting question. If you don't mind, I will prefer to answer it later. Jadi this is how to deal with the interruption with a polite answers, ya, with a polite and welcome questions or comment, ya. You may use this one. Do not sit as Mas Azam said last time, ya, Mas Azam, right? Shut up. Do not ask now. Don't ask me now. Please ask me after this presentation. You may say. Do not say that, yeah. Please, if you are unwelcome to the question, when you are speaking, when you still really serious to convey a material to the audience, so please answer them with a polite, unwelcome questions or comment. Next, okay. I said also, I prefer to answer your question at the end of this presentation. Okay, this is how to deal with the interruptions. Okay, and the next one, reforming the questions, everyone. Okay. Sometimes, yeah, it is important to rephrase the question before giving an answer. So it aims to make sure that the presenter understands the question. With large audience, it is also allows others to hear the questions again. Ya, jadi bisa juga kita paraphrase question. Misalnya ada question yang susah dimengerti, ya. It is difficult to understand the questions. Maybe one of your teams, yeah, maybe your friends will rephrase the question from the audience. So the presenter is easy to understand the questions. Yeah. For if I understand you correctly, we would like to know, you may say this one. Okay, so what you are asking is, so you rephrase the audience questions. I see, let me just repeat your question so everybody can hear it. I see. Let me just repeat your question so everybody can hear it. This is for how to reform the question by rephrasing the question from the audience. Yeah. So everybody can hear and understands also the questions. And the next one, clarify the question. How to clarify the questions. Okay, here you can see over there. The audience sometimes do not deliver the questions clearly. Yeah. Sometimes they do not deliver or do not ask the question as clear as possible. So your duty for the presenter can ask again what they are asking. Yeah, the presenters can ask again what they are asking. Yeah, so you have to make sure that the question is come from him, or make sure it is the question that you ask, or please repeat once more that question that you asked to me. You may say that. So you have to ask again. So if you don't understand them, the question, if you don't understand what they are asking about, so you have to asking one more time and one more time. After that, that's how to clarify the questions. You might say, I'm afraid I didn't quite catch that. Or you might say, I didn't catch up your question. Can you repeat once more your question, please? Let me see that. I'm sorry, could you simplify your question? Kan biasanya kan ada yang tanya kan, dia ada pembukaan dulu banyak sekali. Padahal pertanyaannya cuma satu biji doang. Ya. They have any backgrounds that he talk about, but the question's only one question. So please ask them to simplify their question. To the point lah istilahnya gitu. Please simplify the question. I'm sorry, so sorry, I didn't understand the question. Ini mas secara langsung. Could you repeat it? I'm sorry, could you repeat the question, please? Would you like to rephrase your question, please? So after giving an answer, after giving the answer of the question that come from the question that come from the audience, it is also necessary to clarify the questioner to make sure they get the right point. So after giving the answer from the audience, giving the answers, please clarify the questioners. Make sure that they get right answers or they get the good point from your answer. So you might say, everyone, does that answer your question, or is it my questions is answer? Is it my answer? Clarify your questions. That's how to clarify the questions, yeah, and answer. And the next one, how to avoid giving an answer. How to avoid giving an answer. Maybe some audience, everyone, might ask something that is not related to the content of your presentations, or a question that is not in the presenter's field of expertise. Ya, jadi kadang itu ada pertanyaan yang datang dari audiens itu tidak nyambung, tidak terkait dengan apa yang kita presentasikan, atau pertanyaan yang presenter itu bukan ahlinya di bidang itu. So it is possible for the presenter to avoid giving an answer. Jadi boleh untuk presenter menolak memberikan jawaban kepada audiens. Kayak gitu. Jadi jika ada banyak pertanyaan yang tidak nyambung, tidak Anda paham, so you gonna avoid giving an answer, you might use these expressions below. Yeah. Guys, if you don't mind, could we discuss it in another occasions? Okay, that's from Mas Azam also. Thanks for your asking, but I would be grateful if you asking a question related to the topic. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, we are not really covering the topic today. You might say that. You might say, I'm afraid that's not really one. That's not really what we are discussing today. You might say that. Dan seperti yang Mas Azam juga tulis juga tadi, that you might use it. That's how to avoid giving an answer. And the next one, admitting questions that you do not know. Yeah. So you have to admit the questions that you don't know, that you don't know the answers. Yeah, I can see that. If there are some questions that are difficult to deal with, and the presenter doesn't really sure the answer, you do not really sure the answer. So it is fine to admit not knowing the informations. Yeah, it is fine to admit that you don't know the answers. Yeah. So for the presenter, must not give false answers or make up wrong information. Jadi kalau benar-benar tidak tahu jawabannya, you really don't know the answer, please do not answer them. Do not answer because it will give them wrong answers, ya, a false answer, wrong information. Ya. Jadi jangan malu kalau nggak tahu jawab nggak tahu. Kalau nggak tahu jawab nggak tahu. Jangan malu untuk tidak mengakui bahwa Anda tidak tahu jawabannya. Ya. Karena kalau Anda sok tahu, nanti Anda akan memberikan informasi dan jawaban yang salah. Gitu loh. Karena tidak semua orang memiliki ahlinya masing-masing. Makanya ketika ada pertanyaan, if there is a questions that is not related with your field, with your material, with your subject that you are present to the audience, so you might avoid them. You might avoid them and admitting that the questions is not your fault. Yeah. Admitting that the question or the answer you do not know. So, however, it is very important also to give some recommendation or solutions and if possible, help the audience to get the answers. Yeah. You may say, sorry everyone, sorry mas, sorry friends, you may say that. That's not my field, but I believe my partner could answer your questions. Maybe your partner can answer the question. You might give a chance to your friends to answer the question if your friends in the field of that questions and he knows the informations, the answers of the questions. You might say that is not actually within my area. Maybe my friends will answer the question or my team will answer the question. So admitting that, okay. Or you might say, I apologize. I can't answer your questions right now, but I would be happy to email you an answer later. Nah, jadi nggak bisa dijawab secara langsung di situ karena teman-teman do not source the answer, do not really source the answer. So to make sure that please ask them to email you to answer later. So you might have times to look for the answers and then give them an email about the answers. Okay. That's how to admit something or questions, the answers of the questions that you do not know. And the next one is how tips to handle the questions effectively. There are 5 here. For the first one, please try to give a comment before answering the question. Yeah, try to give a comment before answering the question. And second one, listen to the questions carefully. Ya, jadi kita betul-betul perhatikan pertanyaan yang datang dari audiens secara hati-hati sehingga ketika kita menjawabnya it's clear. Ya, you answer the questions as clear as possible. So you have to listen the questions carefully. And also provide a negotiation and also discussions. Yeah, provide negotiation. Maybe you don't source that the questions come from you. It's easy to understand by the audience. So maybe you have to provide the question, negotiation and discussions about the questions that come from one of your audience, and ask them to discuss what is the answer of the question that come from one of them. Jadi kita bikin suatu diskusi terkait dengan pertanyaan yang datang dari audiens itu sendiri. Misalnya kita tidak yakin atau dengan jawaban yang telah kita berikan dan mereka paham gitu. So kita give them a discussion, give them a chance to discuss and negotiate about that questions, and try ask one of them to answer that questions by giving them a chance to discuss before, gitu ya. And the fourth one, be relaxed and think the question. Ya. Relax ya, santai saja. Kalau ada pertanyaan santai, but you have to be careful and try to be diplomatic but firm. And the next one, everyone, in the conclusions. Closing of a presentation consists of signaling the end of presentations, summarizing main points, giving recommendation or suggestions, inviting a questions, and the last one, apa tadi yang kelima? Remember that? Apa tadi yang kelima di awal yang kita telah bahas? Give them your final statement. Yeah, give them your final statement. At least you have 4 of them, but give them also your final statement. Yeah. However, everyone, to make effective closing, it is also suggestion that the presenter use some tips such as quoting a famous person or giving interesting or provoking questions. And dealing with the question is one of the most important part in the presentation. Ya, dealing with the questions ya. Jadi sesi tanya jawab di dalam sebuah presentasi itu adalah waktu yang paling penting ya, bagian yang paling penting dalam sebuah presentasi itu sendiri. Ya. Karena di situ bisa dilihat that you as a presenters understand what you are talking about. That you as a presenter already prepare well. Yeah. So you as a presenter should anticipate the questions and prepare well before you present your presentations. So some expressions are important to deal with difficult questions, unnecessary question, and irrelevant questions. So we already discussed about in the previous slide. So the presenters can avoid the questions. You may avoid the questions if they think they are not right person to answer or they do not know the answers. However, they still have the responsibility to assist the audience finding the answer. Jadi walaupun teman-teman tidak tahu jawabannya, ya, even though that you don't know the answer, but you have a responsibility to assist the audience to find the answers of the question that come from him or her. Yeah. You as a presenter still have a responsibility to assist the audience finding the answer, even though you do not know the answer. So presenters should also be ready to deal with the interruption and also the question that need to be clarified. Okay, itu ya teman-teman ya. This is for the closing of your presentation. Guys, for next week, maybe we have no class. There is no class for next week. And to change the first meeting, to change your first meeting, you have to do an assignment. Yeah, I have already prepared your assignment that you have to do in the next meeting. Yeah, and for the questions, I will give you. I will send it to your into Telegram ya, to your group. Oke, teman-teman ya. For next week we have no class. So for the absency, it will take from your answers ya. For the absency, your kehadiran will take from your answers. Do you have any other question, teman-teman? Minggu depan minggu tenang kan ya?
Sir,
Yep. Are you speaking?
how to avoid giving question that is not related politely?
Yeah. How to avoid? Sorry.
Giving questions that is not related to the topic by politely.
How to deal with the questions? Sorry, I didn't catch up your questions, Mas Fahri.
How to avoid giving questions that is not giving answer to the question is not related politely.
Okay. We may open the screens. Let's see. Maybe tadi Mas Fahri kelewat kali ya?
Yes, sir.
This one. Can you see that? Some audience might ask something that is not related to the content of your presentations, or question that is not in the presenter field of expertise. This is your question, kan, Mas?
Yes, sir.
So, it is possible for the presenters to avoid giving an answer as polite as possible by using this expressions. If you don't mind, I'm so sorry, we are not really covering the topic today. Or if you don't mind, could we discuss in another occasions maybe? Or you may say, I'm afraid that's not really what we are discussing today. Okay. This is how to avoid the question that is not, this is how to avoid giving an answers to the questions that is not really related to your content of your presentations. Ya, Mas ya? Mas Fahri ya? Got it, Mas?
Yes, sir. I get it now.
Okay. Another one, please, if you have any other questions. No? Yeah, it is easy to understand ya, teman-teman. It is easy to understand because you already practice. You already did a present. You already become a presenters before, so you know how to deal with the question, to deal with how to close your presentations, to deal with how the questions that comes when you talk, that comes when you give a presentations. Yeah. When there is a questions that comes to you when you are still talking. Yeah. Jadi you haven't give them a chance for the question and answer. There is one of them comes to you and asks you a question, so you already know how to deal it. Yeah. So I hope after UTS, we will have all of you a chance to deliver to practice one more about the presentations. Ya. Jadi nanti setelah UTS teman-teman akan dapat tugas lagi untuk presentasi ya. Presentasi nanti untuk judulnya nanti kita akan bahas. Ya, nanti teman-teman bisa memilih judul sendiri, but is talk about entrepreneurship, maybe you can talk about entrepreneurship, about technology, in we may divide it into in one group into 3% or 4%, maybe 4 students. We will have a chance to practice what we have been discussed in this meeting and also in the previous meeting, which is talk about opening in presentations, how to give a signal in your presentation, in the content of your presentations, and how to close your presentation. What we have to discuss, what we have to do in opening presentations, content of presentations, and also what we have to do in closing of presentation. So in the next after test, next week after test, you will practice your presentations, and I will give a mark if you did a good job, if you did something that we have been learned in this meeting and also in previous meeting. Oke, teman-teman ya. Do you have any other questions now? If you don't, Mas April, please.
Yes, about our absence.
Absency.
Yes, you said that our absence is based on our answer in Telegram, yes?
Yep.
What kind of answer that we have to send in Telegram? Do you want to send some exercise in Instagram? And
Yeah,
then
of course, Mas April, of course.
I mean this. How about avoiding a copy paste from others?
Sorry.
There is a chance that people will copy paste our answer. Then
I will check it. I will check it one by
then
one.
maybe they didn't come to this class. How about you sure that everyone is coming to this class?
I believe to you. I believe to you. Yeah, this is your sin if you take a cheat from your friends ya. Jadi mengcopy paste from your friends. That's your sins. But I will try to check it one by one. If there is a copy paste, for example, from Mas April, and it copy paste by Mas Didi maybe, so I have to clarify first. Yeah, Mas April ya.
Yes.
I have to clarify. I will not give them a mark first ya. Saya nggak akan berikan nilai dulu before I clarify to them. Yeah.
So in conclusion, that our answer is about our absent and nilai.
Iya, of course lah. Jadi untuk minggu depan itu nanti kan saya akan kirim soal ke grup.
Oh, sorry, it's for next meeting, not for now.
No,
I
it's not
think
for
for now,
now.
sir.
Oh.
Next meeting is next meeting is I know
That's
that.
why it is not now.
Just make sure that our absent today.
No, for the absence today, I just take a screenshot.
Yes.
Screenshot.
I'm sorry. I think for
Okay.
today's absence.
That's why I
week.
try to catch up your questions.
Yes. I think for today's absence. No.
Okay.
That next
For today's absence, I just take a screenshot. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry, sir.
All right. Okay. For someone who came late last time, please turn on your camera. This is the absentee.
Now capturing is by absence. I think. Sorry.
Mas Alex guyu loh. Oke, it's okay Mas Gali. I know that you are there. Okay. One, two, three. And one, two, three. Guys, thank you very much for coming today. And please have a nice day. And please try to answer the question that I want to send to your group. Yeah, try to answer as good as possible. The question, the assignment that I gonna send to your group for next week. Yeah. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Oh, you're welcome.
Bye. See you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum.